a man noticed something strange while drinking water. His fingernails were rapidly turning black. Years of medical experience indicated that this was a symptom of severe hypoxia in the heart and lungs. However, before he could figure out the reason, all the mineral water bottles in the cabin suddenly twisted and deformed at the same time. Just as the man realized something was wrong, the flight attendant suddenly sat back in her seat and instructed all passengers to fasten their seatbelts immediately. But it was too late. Accompanied by a more intense shaking, the passengers instantly felt a chill down their spines. It turned out that the plane had entered a turbulent layer. The next second, passengers who didn't have time to fasten their seatbelts were instantly sucked into the air by the strong airflow. Seeing this scene, all the passengers were shocked. But in order to survive, they could only hold on to the armrests tightly. Just when everyone thought they were about to face a major disaster, surprisingly, after a violent jolt, the pressure inside the cabin miraculously returned to normal. However, at this moment, the flight attendant discovered that a passenger suddenly couldn't breathe, and she was so frightened that she hurriedly called for help on the broadcast. David rushed over as soon as he heard the call, but it was too late. After twitching for a moment, passenger John quickly became still. They could only temporarily store the body in the business class cabin on the second floor and cover the deceased with a blanket. However, not long after, Jack sneaked up to the second floor. It turned out that when the crew members were carrying the body just now, he noticed that the deceased was wearing a priceless gold watch on his hand. He wanted to quietly take that gold watch away, but after Jack took off the gold watch, he didn't leave immediately. Instead, he took out his phone and started taking selfies. In front of the camera, he kept showing off and even started insulting the deceased. The next second, the corpse turned its head. Then, the corpse stood up, instantly causing Jack to let out a piercing scream. At the same time, the flight attendant in the cabin also encountered a bizarre situation. She found that a fighter jet had appeared outside the window, and on the cockpit side, the signal had become strangely weaker and weaker, making it impossible to contact the ground control tower. What was even more terrifying was that when the flight attendant walked towards the business class cabin on the second floor again, she found that the corpse had mysteriously disappeared, and Jack, who came to the second floor to steal the gold watch, had also vanished without a trace. The flight attendant Lisa immediately told the captain about this, but the captain only thought that someone was playing a prank and instructed them to find a way to retrieve the body. Otherwise, all the flight attendants would be fired by the airline. At this time, the girl who had previously fainted in the toilet returned to the toilet again. But suddenly, the toilet was filled with fog. The lights kept flickering, and the dead John slowly crawled out of the floor and grabbed the girl with his big hands.